All right. Well, I think the infrastructure in terms of the ability to connect, we're in a good place. I know we have some issues. For example, over the weekend, some people were without connection, but that's of course because there was some incident that resulted in that. Um, the quality of the service, I mean, we couldn't question that from time to time. But I think in terms of our ability to really reach the outside world and interact with it, it's not just about the physical infrastructure. You know, I think in most homes there is some sort of internet presence, whether it's through the mobile phone or so. But are we ready for that? That is another question, I think.
When you say are we ready, what do you mean?
Well, it's one thing to have the tool, it's another to be able to use the tool and to use it properly to ensure that, at the end of the day, you do not destroy yourself or hurt others in the process. And while, yes, I think we've, through the CASIP network, in the schools, we have the mesh network and even the mobile penetration from the different providers. That is pretty good when compared to what is happening in some of the other islands. But in terms of our awareness, our digital literacy skills, and so forth, I think there is a bit of that is lacking, especially when you see people on Facebook, for example, asking how they on the post that says you can win, you could make $3,000-4,000 in an hour off your cell phone, and they ask how. Um, you see those that saying you just need to click how, and you'd be able to win some prizes from whether it's Amazon, which they're not giving out, or some other company. It sort of make you wonder whether or not we haven't gone too far ahead with putting tools in hands and not ensuring that the know-how and so forth is on par with that. I do not know where the figures are in terms of people who have lost money as a result of scams. I know sometime back the FIU did put out some figures, and it was quite a few $1 million Grenadians had lost through some of these online scams and so forth. And you still see that happening. As a matter of fact, even right now, there is this WhatsApp voice note making the rounds, claiming to be from the director of WhatsApp, and you need to send it to how many persons in your contact list, and or your WhatsApp is going to stop working. Just listening to the voice note, you tell, hey, this is madness. It doesn't make any sense. But based on what I have seen for the day so far, it is moving quite a bit. People are forwarding it, and we're looking at local people. That's why I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying, we have the infrastructure, we have the connectivity to a great extent. But I think what we need to do now is put into gear the educating, the training that need to secure us now when we use the tools that have been made available.
You talk greatly about that, about cybersecurity here. Remote learning, remote working. How prepared are we? How safe are we to be able to work remotely from Grenada?
Well, some people are able to do it. Some companies, the bigger companies, they have the money, and so they have the technical support to ensure that there is some level of security that exists between the people working from home and the organization and its data and so forth. And the financial institutions, I think most of them, they sort of have that in place. You're not able to connect to their servers and so forth without some sort of virtual network, a VPN, virtual private network or so. So they have that. But for a lot of the other entities, it's about them giving you a computer and they tell you, you could work on this. They send emails, and so a lot of this is not really as protected as I believe it should be. Even the hardware that is given, in some cases they may not even be a proper password on it. Somebody is just given a computer and told, here, you could do company work on that. If the device is lost or stolen, whoever gets it, I mean, they have access to whatever the contents of that machine is. So I think because of how this happened, it is not something that we are, really familiar with the concept of work from home. And so we sort of have things moving, but not in the most secure of ways. You ask about the online learning, and I think part of that plays out in that space as well. Children have these devices, they have cameras, and so what do they capture? Who do they connect with? And even the digital well-being side of it, how do they use it? Are they on there for hours at a time? Is the screen too bright? Is the volume too loud? Are they sitting properly? Is the device, a fair distance from their face? Or is it really close? What's going on with the neck? All these little things, I think, are things we now have to play catch up with. We've given it, and yes, they are being used, and things are happening, and that is good. Children are being met by their teachers virtually, so some learning is happening. People working from home, they're able to get certain things done. But I think when you look at, true security, and what the value of data, we it's straight up, we're not quite there yet. But I think we can. You give an employee a computer and tell them work from home, and they have no idea what a phishing email looks like. Imagine if they think the mail is coming from you, they click on that. What can happen to the information on that device? These are things I'm hoping we can address, as soon as possible. To me, these are things that should have been addressed yesterday. They should have been addressed long before, the pandemic hit, when we started with a lot of our ICT initiatives, whether it is in the private sector, in the public sector. We should have seen the importance of tweening that aspect of the initiative with, training and empowering people, those who use it.
What should be done by the companies?
I think the first place to start right now is with building the knowledge base of the people who work there. The financial institutions, you need to, the people who are your customers, they need to know what they should and should not do with the cards you give them. The people who are using the organization's infrastructure, computer equipment, and so they should know what, a simple phishing scam look like. They should know what to click on, what not to click on, how you treat data. You're walking away from the computer, you do not leave it open. At least lock the screen. Be mindful of who is behind you. These are little things, and especially in the home environment, where you do not really know who is coming, who is going, who is actually, being exposed to your company information out there. I think these are little things, you need to teach people. So I think it starts with some level of training as we tighten up on the technological aspect of things. Put in whatever measures in place, so people they're not just able to connect without ensuring that the connection between them and your systems, it's one that is secure. With the children, you must have a conversation with them, whether it is the parents or the Ministry of Education, teachers, just letting them be aware of some of the dangers out there. Something as simple as, you have your tablet and you're playing a game, yes, but it's not a very good idea to use your picture as your avatar. It's not a very smart idea to be using your actual name as your screen name. Don't connect with somebody because they look pretty or they look like you in terms of age, because you really do not know who is on the other side of that. It could be a pedophile, it could be somebody whose intentions are not that nice. Even how the children turn on their cameras for Zoom. Yes, there are other children in that space, in that virtual meeting, but there might be parents there as well. And some of the people who break into people's houses, some of them are parents. You do not know. Maybe you're actually giving a thief insight into what is in your house, the size of the TV, how it's mounted. They know what size bag to walk with, what tools they need to come with. So these are things I think we need to be aware of, and we need to have our children being aware of it. And I think, let us not think that just because we're a small island, all our data is not valuable, that we cannot fall victim to a lot of these scams and these threats and so, because the attacks, they're real. The attacks, they have been happening, and I think they're going to continue happening. We need to just ensure our people are at a place where you recognize the attack and you know how to mitigate, or you know how to protect yourself when they come, because they will come. They have been coming.